To announce the Dallas Cowboys selection, please welcome the University of Tulsa wide receiver, Drew Pearson.
All right. How about them Cowboys? I want to thank the Eagle fans for allowing me to have a career in the NFL. Thank you. I am honored as an undrafted free agent to be selected to make the Cowboys second-round draft pick. And on behalf of the five-time world champion Dallas Cowboys, Hall of Fame owner Jerry Jones, Team Jones and the Jones family, Coach Jason Garrett, all the Cowboy players that played before me, that played with me, and played after me. With the second pick, 60th pick in the second round, the Dallas Cowboys select defensive back from Colorado, Chidobe Awuzie.
And it is a reminder, I've been here when it was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't. And so having said that, I want me some glory hole. Been here when it was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't. Well, having said that, I want me some glory hole.
This is Silver and Blue Nation, the voice of the fans. Here's Big Game James and Producer G.
How about them Cowboys?
You can't help but have a smile on your face when that comes in.
I mean, I try to be cool, but then I hear that beat, but that rap side come out of me. What's up, everybody? It's Big Game James.
Producer G over here.
Yep, we got the bye week, but guess what? We are still here to talk Cowboy football. How's everybody doing today?
Cowboys football never sleeps.
And it's been a good week for us. It's been a good week for us. Well, it's been a bad week because, we took that L, but it's been a good week because we had a good transaction that came to us, a Rolls Royce.
Some good news to talk about and
Mercedes
something to be
Benz.
optimistic about for these Dallas Cowboys.
A big body Benz.
Let me go ahead and appreciate everybody who's checking it out, the Silver and Blue Nation live streaming podcast. We're here every Sunday all year round, so make sure you guys check back in with us next week as well. And if you're a first-time watcher, make sure you give us a like, comment, subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, all that good stuff.
All that good stuff.
And let's go ahead and start giving out a few shout-outs while we're early on here on Facebook Live. I'm looking at Ryan Dye in there. What's going on, Ryan?
Yes.
Glenn Justice, Mike Clark, hello. Alec Cash is in there, our guy.
Cash Money.
Jay Favela, Wiseman Santana, Mama T, Diego. Appreciate all you guys who are checking in. Terry Turner, Eric Kashani, our proud patron. And let's not forget about you Patreons.
Yes.
Marvin Hargrove became one this week. Proud
Shout out to
supporter of the
Marvin
show.
Hargrove. He
Eric
became
Kashani,
a Facebook friend
Katina
too.
Russell, Janiqua Russell, or Katina, and Katina, and, right, and Janiqua Russell.
Right. He
If I
came
get
real
the
fast.
names out right.
Came quick.
Will Richards is in there. Jawan
sir.
James, Vondale Jackson.
Yes.
My friend Laura BP. Nico's in there.
Get the hell in here.
Appreciate all you guys.
And share.
And real quick, before we move along, get started with this show, let me give a little bit of love to YouTube as well.
Please do.
Say Primetime, Tavis Banks. Appreciate you, Santana Louie, Daryl Branscombe, T-Smooth, two-time TV, Love these YouTube
I
names.
love it. 2 times.
Mustafa's in there.
Mustafa.
Produced by Germ. Appreciate all you guys
Produced
leaving
by
us
Germ.
comments.
We know who that is.
Make sure you give us a thumbs up if you're over there watching on YouTube.
Hell yeah. Like and share.
And so let's start jumping into it, man. It's the bye week. You said it.
Yeah.
There was a big move made.
Hella big move. We got after the Redskin game, after the we were all sad. You heard the rant. If you were tuned in to Silver and Blue Nation, if you didn't, please do. You heard the rant, the frustration. We're 3-4. The Redskins won again today, but they did play the lowly Giants. Peterson had a field day, ran for over 150 again. He's looking real strong, real good. But to me, that team still is not a team that's going to go anywhere. So we took that tough loss. Looked bad. We made a move. We made a real move. Went out there and got had been talking about it in the air before we played the Redskins, but it became a reality when the Cowboys gave up their first-round pick for Amari Cooper from the Oakland Raiders. And honestly, I'm feeling good about it. So I hear a lot of people that were complaining about it, G. Well, people were complaining because we gave a first-rounder. Why? Why would you be mad at that? Because the comparisons that came big to me was, number one, when they brought up Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley was only 6 months younger than Amari Cooper, and he's been
Alabama guy.
Right, and he's been in the league 3 years. Also, Amari Cooper has had 2 1,000-yard receiving years. And then the knock, which I don't want to hear when they keep on talking about, well, he had the drops and why would you spend a first rounder? Man, are you serious? Amari Cooper, to me, is the real deal. If you go around the league and you ask the top cornerbacks in the league, I just posted something from Aqib Talib. He said that dude is one of the top 5 in every book. Hands, route running, speed, everything. When you get a guy like that is established, and sometimes you look at a player and say, well, why does his production fall off? Sometimes you can look at the organization. Maybe the player doesn't want to be in that organization. That does happen. These players are not robots. Sometimes the guys just don't want to play in the organization no more. He could come to Dallas and have a whole new revival. We've seen that before, G, time and time again in the NFL. When a guy is not doing good in one area, goes to another team and blows up. We've seen that time and time again. And this could happen with Amari Cooper.
You said we've seen it time and time again. Yes, maybe from other teams, but I haven't really seen that much from the Cowboys in recent history.
Right.
You think back to Joey Galloway, Roy
Right.
Williams,
Right.
those type of trades, and usually that has not worked out for the Cowboys. Name me the last player that the Cowboys have traded for that really has come in and made a big impact on the team.
I can get where you're coming from that, especially with the receiver aspect with Joey Galloway and Roy Williams. But let's also look at their age. When we traded for them, they were a little bit older than Amari Cooper, and we gave up multiple picks for them. We gave up multiple picks for Roy Williams. We gave up multiple picks for Joey Galloway. We gave up 1 first-rounder. If we look at it at the end of the day, Jerry Jones has said he's all in on Dak Prescott. So if he's all in on Dak Prescott, he's got to get Dak Prescott weapons. So that's the smart thing to do. At the end of the day, they were not going to draft a quarterback in the first round. No matter how many people were crying about it, they were not going to do it because Jerry is all in on Dak Prescott. They were going to draft a receiver in the first round. So if they were going to draft a receiver in the first round anyway, why not go with the guy who is already established in the league, one of the top receivers in the league, and is still young? How are you losing in that aspect when you were going to do it? You're drafting an unknown in the first round, and where you could get somebody who could be a flop, he could be a bust, where you have somebody guy who is proven. And when you watch him in that practice, those first 2 practices, he was head and shoulders above, better than every receiver we had out there.
Yeah, great point, too. Also talking about how that they didn't have to give up a lot for him, because it seems like a lot. You said people were kind of complaining about giving up the first-round pick. Well, when you think about it, maybe it's the younger people complaining because, like you just said, we were giving up multiple first-round picks for guys like Roy Williams and Joey Galloway. So when you look at it like that, it's actually pretty cheap and probably one of the best trades that they've ever made, up to this point with Jerry Jones. And, obviously the Herschel Walker trade and all that. But I'm talking about in recent memory, when we talk about Joey Galloway, Roy Williams, like this would be a smart move.
This is definitely a smart move because, like I said, we gave up a first rounder. They were going to do it anyway. Go with somebody who's guaranteed. You're not going to get hurt by that. And the Philadelphia Eagles, when they said that how they had it in the air, how the Philadelphia Eagles were offering a second-round pick. Now, if if Dallas didn't go for it and the Eagles went and got Amari Cooper and we didn't, Dallas Cowboys would have been mad as hell. They've been like, why didn't they go after him? We ain't trying to get better. We ain't trying to do this. So we should not be mad at Jerry Jones. As much as I get frustrated, I cannot be mad at this move because this man said, you know what? I am not trying to let this season go to an end. I do want to get to the playoffs, so I'm going to do everything in my possibility to make this team work. So I'm not mad at him going and being bold and giving up that first rounder because you have a player like Amari Cooper. I'm not mad because Amari Cooper to me is a beast. I liked him when he was at Oakland. I loved him at Oakland. And
I did too.
When I heard him when in the air about him possibly coming here, I was super excited. And when they actually did it, I had no qualms and giving it up. Yes, the first rounder, when I first thought about it, it was rich. But then when I went over and thought about it at the whole night and said, look what this guy brings to the table. And he's still young, man, go ahead and make that move. And now, when we also had talked about now Dak Prescott, the staff, everybody.
Yeah, speaking of Dak, Jawan James says there's no more excuses for him, which we are going to dive into that. But before we move along, I want to reset here for a sec. I want to appreciate everybody who's been tuning in with us so far on Facebook Live and YouTube and leaving us comments. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Make sure you hit those emojis down there on Facebook. Give us a share into the Cowboys groups. Invite your Cowboys friends. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. How does this Amari Cooper deal impact the Cowboys moving forward? I wanted to see a few comments in here and take some that I seen. Giovanni Ortiz, looking on Facebook Live, says, I believe in Amari Cooper. It would be good having that fresh start. Jawan James, again, talks about how Dak won't have excuses now, and we will dive into that a little bit more as well.
All right.
Let me just name a few names, too, everybody who's tuning in. I can't get everybody's comment, but I can definitely say some names off here. Shake Williams, thanks for tuning in. Natalie Garrido, Val Gutierrez, David Nixon. Appreciate all you guys leaving us comments over here on Facebook. Katina, Mr. Hargrove checked in. We talked about you, Mr. Hargrove. We appreciate you becoming a patron of the nation. If you guys can see above Big Game James's head there, you can go up to that website right there.
Please
subscribe to us. You can donate to the nation, and we would greatly appreciate that. And over here on YouTube, Daniel Meza's commenting with us. I've seen Stevie Mack in there, our guy who's there every week. Kivo Kikorian, he says Dak's an average QB. I wanted to see what some people had to say more a little bit about
I'm looking
Cooper's situation.
Yeah, I'm looking at a lot of people. So I had some people, I'm going to get some names off. It was a good trade-off.
Sheila loves them.
A lot of people do like it. Somebody brought up a Damaris. Jay Favela asked, would you rather trade it for Demaryius Thomas? No, because he's 30 years old. Why would we do that? That makes more sense to get a guy who's younger. That's not going to hurt us.
And really, when you think about, when you said Thomas, it reminded me of Des Bryant because they're kind of very similar the way
they're the same players.
They fell off like that. They had about 3 good years and fell off.
And you just look at Demaryius Thomas. He's that type of player where it doesn't look like, it look like he's peaked. 30 years old, he's peaked. There's no reason to go out there. We want somebody who can grow with the team. We don't want somebody who's going to be not with the team the next couple of years. We need a guy who's going to, if he's going to be all in with Dak Prescott, because Dak Prescott is not going anywhere. He's going to be the quarterback next year as well. You might as well have somebody who's going to grow with them. And just as we said, Jawan James, I believe he brought it up in the comments. Now Dak Prescott, the staff, nobody has excuses. You have a number 1 receiver. You have a number 1 running back. The offensive line is playing uneven. We'll talk about that later. But at the end of the day, you still have a very good defense, so there's no excuses now. Cole Beasley is a good slot receiver. Now he can be even a better receiver. Michael Gallup is a solid rookie. He's going to be even better. Now you have an addition with Cooper. So there's not going to be any excuses for Dak or anybody else. If you can't produce with a number 1 receiver, then possibly Dallas Cowboys will have to move on if you can't make it happen with this weapon.
Produced by Germ says he fell off, talking about Amari Cooper, because of Derek Carr's performance. Basically saying the tape tells a story if you go look at that. So appreciate that comment.
If you look at Derek Carr, what are they complaining about him right now? They just talk about how they recommitted to him and they don't have to worry about it. But David Carr has been captain check down as well. If you've been watching his games, he's been checking down. Amari Cooper has not been getting the receptions he's been getting because Derek Carr has not been looking his way and he's been checking down. So the production has to go with the quarterback as well. When we're talking about why is Cole Beasley not getting 75 catches in 1 year, we're talking about the reason why Dak hasn't been hitting him in those situations. So now you see the same thing with the Oakland Raiders. So hopefully now The biggest thing with Amari Cooper with me, G, is I hope when he comes to with the team, we don't force feed him. We don't see that, oh, we got him against the Titans. Let's throw the ball to him. First play of the game, throw it to him. You know what I'm saying? Play within the confines of the game. We know he's the #1 receiver. Now he's going to get selected coverages. Now you're going to get coverages rolled to him. So now we talked about also, G, how Michael Gallup is going to be bigger. Now we talked about how Cole Beasley is going to be bigger because now we have somebody who can roll coverages. Before, we didn't have anybody out there that anybody really respected to give a for real double coverage. Amari Cooper, you can probably do that with. So now other guys will be open, and Michael Gallup has been stepping up, as you saw in that Washington game. This makes him even more better.
Will Richards says he loves the trade. He says he'll bring plenty to the offense. Mike Clark says Garrett at the World Series the other night, didn't see him clapping, so we're going to get into that.
Yeah,
Matter of fact,
we're definitely going to get into that.
We're going to talk some Vander Esch. We're going to talk some Dak Prescott, some Cole Beasley, Michael Gallup. We're going to talk about Scott Linehan, and we're going to talk about what you just said, Mike, with the Jason Garrett situation. So stick around for that. We appreciate you guys hanging in here with us as we move along, and we're going to try to hit on everything everybody wants to talk about because we are the voice of the fans, so we want you guys to be able to talk about what you want. Let's see. Wiseman Santana on Facebook Live says Amari Cooper need to change his jersey number next year. We don't want nothing to do with Bryce Butler connection, I guess.
I mean, I don't know why you would say that. Bryce Butler didn't do anything wrong when he came here. I mean, it just didn't work out. It's okay. He's got number 19. Let's roll with it. I mean, Blake Jarvin's got that number. 19 is cool. I'm not tripping off of that. We worry about production, not numbers.
Will Richards says he's smashing some White Castle and dropping in on the Silver and Blue Nation podcast.
We love it.
Appreciate you.
We appreciate you.
Glad we could help you out and join you for lunch.
Yeah, what you eating at White Castles? Let me know. Them chicken rings and fries.
Rings,
you got to be them chicken rings. Them chicken rings is good as hell. Let me tell you.
The honey mustard dip. Terry Turner loves the trade. London Bates says, why haven't we cut Terrence Williams yet?
I mean, he's honestly, they're not going to cut him. There's no reason to cut him in their eyes because he's on injury reserve. It's not going to cost them anything to cut him, to keep him. He's not going to be with the team next year, so that's just the way it is. I mean, we just might as well forget about Terrence Williams. Don't even think about him because he's not going to play this year, and this is his last year with the team. I mean, if anybody would think about Deontay Thompson, because I think we get that 4th rounder if they cut him. So that's the guy that we need to look at if they're going to keep him so they can get that 4th round pick back, because Deontay Thompson ain't did jack poo, and he's been a disappointment these last 2 games as well.
Ryan Dye says, I like the trade. I'm only worried about how much it'll cost to re-sign him after the season. That's a good point.
Well, they're talking about that. People need to understand that the reason why he came over to Dallas and the reason why Dallas traded for him is because he gave an assurance that he was going to play under his contract year and he wasn't going to worry about his extension until after 2019. So Dallas has him this year and all of 2019. So we don't have to worry about that because he gave the assurance he wasn't going to go try to renegotiate. So we have that good time to find out if he is going to be the guy.
But you do need to get that deal done this offseason. Otherwise, you're going to go into the end of next year's deal, and then he's going to be a free agent.
Well, we'll see what happens. I mean,
so usually that kind of stuff is done a year before he becomes a free agent.
This is true, but we'll see what happens with this. These last 7-8 games are going to be critical to see what happens, but I think it's a situation where Amari Cooper can be with the Cowboys. Why would he not want to be with the Dallas Cowboys?
Russell Harrison, I'm looking on Facebook Live right now. I'm coming to you guys over on YouTube next, so hang in there with me. Keep the comments rolling in. I'm going to be checking you guys out. Russell Harrison says, if it's true about Washington and Philly making offers for Cooper, then I'm good with trading the 1st-round pick. That's another way to look at it, too.
I mean, but people are tripping off this 1st-round pick. People need to understand, when we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys, people need to get in the mind of how the Dallas Cowboys draft and not how you try to draft. You get what I'm saying, G? Mm-hmm. Stop trying to draft how you would try to draft, because they ain't drafting how you try to draft. A lot of people want a new quarterback. You know how many people were screaming about drafting a quarterback in the 1st round, and you know damn well they're not going to do that. You get what I'm saying? Jerry Jones is not doing that. So why are you talking about that? The thing is, they were going to draft a receiver in the 1st round to get it for Dak Prescott. Jerry Jones is all in on Dak Prescott. The organization is all in on Dak Prescott. They're going to do whatever it takes to make him successful. So stop talking about everything else. What you want to talk about now with that 2nd-round pick is getting a tight end or a safety. I'm hearing a lot of people in there how Clinton Ha-Ha Dix could be available, G. The Green Bay Packers will possibly make him available. Ryan Dye had brought it up. Other people brought up the safety position. That's a position that we still need to address along with the tight end position. So I think we solidified the receiver position. It made the Dallas Cowboys better. It made us better in the long run. So now they just want to address other things as far as the tight end, because they need a dynamic tight end.
Jawan James says he's still shocked Amari's only 6 months older than Ridley. So
That's crazy.
I mean, there you go.
Right.
So basically, you just went out and drafted your guy, but he's already got experience and he's already proven himself. You don't have to worry about the what ifs, a bust, anything like that. So definitely would have been worth it. And he was the 4th overall pick.
4th overall. You know how many people had high praises for him when he was coming out of the draft?
Oh, I remember it.
I mean, John Gruden, I mean, we see he's at Oakland now, but when he was getting drafted at that draft forum, John Gruden had very high praise for him. A lot of people did. I mean, he has great hands, like I said, 4.4 speed, good size, 6'1", 215 pounds. And like I said, I posted a few of the practice. When you watch him coming out in and out of his breaks, he just looks better. And the good thing about it is, we know Dak doesn't throw we know Dak throws a good ball at times, but sometimes he won't throw it where the radius is. And what does Deshaun Watson and Hopkins have? Because he doesn't always throw it right where it's at, but Hopkins has that big catch radius. Yeah. And I believe that's what Amari Cooper has, and that's what's going to make it better. So even if Dak doesn't throw a perfect ball, Amari Cooper can go get it, and that's
You're
what
not at all worried about him leading the league in drops?
No, not at all. I think that's just an anomaly. I think people just need to get over the drops. I really believe it was a situation where I don't think he really wanted to be in Oakland anymore, and this is going to be a breath of fresh air for him. When you go from Oakland to the Cowboys and look at the facilities and what they bring, and you know as well as I know, G, if you produce in Dallas, you're a god.
Oh, there's no question. The spotlight, there's no bigger spotlight.
He comes in, he's going to be a god.
Ray Griggs, thanks for checking in over here on our Facebook Live. This is Big Game James and Producer G. What's going on, guys? Hey,
What's
we're
up?
good.
What's up? Appreciate you.
We're happy at least we don't have to worry about losing this week.
You ain't hitting no rant today. You're hearing a good rant about Amari Cooper rant.
Stick around. We got a lot more things to cover in the show. We just kind of only hitting on the Cooper right now. That's the big news, so we're just kind of running through and trying to take a lot of comments. And Jawan James says that Amari should help pull the coverage off the line and help open up things for Zeke a little bit. I could agree with that as well.
Yes, because, I mean, what did we talk about when they had Dez Bryant and Jason Witten? Dez Bryant, he was a threat. Even if Dez Bryant didn't get the ball, he was a threat. You were going to roll the coverages over to Dez Bryant because he was a threat, and it opened up the field for everybody else. Dallas Cowboys have not had that. There was nobody that when the defense came to the line and said, oh, we're scared of what, Deontay Thompson, Allen Hurns. Only person you would probably worry about would be Cole Beasley, but you could bracket him. You get what I'm saying? So there was basically putting man-to-man coverage, press coverage, and say, Dak Prescott, do something. Now you have Amari Cooper. Now you're going to back up a little bit because you have somebody when Dak Prescott get the ball to him, he can take it to the house. He can get you deep. He can hit you on a slant. He can hit you on a hitch. He can hit you on every route because he knows the whole route tree. We don't have guys that can do that. That changes the whole dynamic of our offense. It makes Zeke better because now you have somebody, we can hit somebody and change the game. You get Amari Cooper, G, with 3 or 4 catches, right, and he starts opening the offense. Now you do a play action, you go down and give it to Zeke. Zeke gets those 10, 15-yard chunk gains instead of those 3-4 yards.
Tim Warner on Facebook Live says Big Game James and Producer G are the best. Thanks for all your dedication.
Hey, we appreciate
Daniel
you.
and Jeanette Bruton says, what's up, Big Game James? So,
hey, I love all y'all.
Yeah, I just want you
love
guys all to know
y'all.
when you leave those kind of comments, like it really means a lot to me.
It does.
And
it means something. Not just you. Stop being selfish.
Well, hey, you your own. I mean, I don't know how it makes you feel. But I know how it makes me feel.
Well, it makes me feel warm inside.
I know it makes me feel really gratified for the stuff that we do. So I appreciate the comments like that. That's really the satisfaction for the grind that we definitely continue to do.
Yes.
Miss Haggerty's in there.
Hey, what's up, Jessica? You know I still love you.
She said Jerry Jones' son made the move. Anything for her boys. Talking about Cooper.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are asking again about Ha-Ha Dicks.
Yeah.
Before we move on from this topic, let me jump over here. I see you, Ryan Dye, talking about safety. We will definitely hit on that a little bit. But let me I want to give some love to YouTube, our people over here watching as well. There's just so many tuned in. I mean, it's hard to get everybody, but
we appreciate y'all. We love it. It's good to have that, and instead of having 3 people in here and knowing all your damn names.
Let me go
I
ahead.
don't want to know all your names.
At least for all you guys over here on YouTube, I can get you up here on the screen so we can kind of take a look at you here as you're leaving us comments. Slim Cuddy's in there.
Slim
Leon
Cuddy.
Genesis. Shad's in there. Just to name a few names. Andrew Castillo. Michael Nesmith. Appreciate all you comments, guys. Jeff Pertite. Jazzy Jeff. We got a lot of Cowboys haters that come in here. It's unbelievable.
Well,
it's like
cool.
You guys follow our page. I mean, We appreciate it, but
Hey,
I would
G.
never imagine in my life following an
No,
Eagles page.
it's cool. It's cool because, G, I'm telling you, I got Redskin fans. I got I got 3 Redskin fans. Got Redskins on their cover page.
Oh, Mook
that are liking my page.
Dees is calling someone a hypocrite here. I don't know if he's talking to you, but he says, hypocrite, you couldn't get over Dez's drops. I don't know if he's calling you out on that one.
He's definitely not talking to me because I've never said anything about Dez's drops.
Michael JC says he's a new subscriber. Our channel needs more love. Yes, Michael, and we
Yes,
appreciate,
we
you
appreciate
for
you.
that comment and subscribing and tuning in. And we definitely are – you're going to be seeing a lot more content coming from that channel here pretty soon. So thanks for that comment, and we hope that you like the stuff that we are able to do right now. I mean, it all comes down to we got to get paid to do this.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bottom line. That's just being real about it. In order to have more time to do more shows, you got to get paid. So we're coming along. It's always a grind. We're growing. We're building. We appreciate all you guys' support, and can't say enough about that. So should we move on a little bit to something else? Because I think people are probably tired of talking about this.
Yeah, we got some other people. Go ahead.
We kind of still want to bounce off that because we want to get into what we promised, and that was people talking about the excuses for Dak.
Right.
Are there no more excuses for him now?
Yeah, there's no more excuses for Dak Prescott right now because Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, the organization basically gave him a weapon to give him no more excuses. Now, I still want them to get a dynamic tight end because that would definitely help him as well if you get him a tight end. But I believe the Dallas Cowboys are all in with Dak Prescott. I really do believe it. They want him to succeed. Why wouldn't we want him to succeed? G, we all want him to succeed because why do we want to go back in the draft and start over? Nobody wants to go back in the draft and start over because that is a crapshoot. You get what I'm saying? I want Dak Prescott. They do. So now you don't have any excuses because if he doesn't produce with Amari Cooper, you're going to look at him and be like, he can't be the guy because this is a weapon that's going to make our team better. And if he doesn't get it to him or the offense doesn't elevate, what will you say? I told you, number one, Dak Prescott, Scott Linehan, none of those guys are going to be able to escape the chopping block because this is a weapon that you can't back off and say, well, he ain't got nobody. Yes, you do now. And this has to be a weapon that can produce and make your offense better.
Well, that's kind of what we have been saying. Last year it was, okay, Dez is done, Witten's old. Now they're gone. Now this year now we have no weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's at a point where it's like, all right, you got a great defense. You have a great running game. This offensive line, they've taken a step back, but they're still one of the top lines in the league when you look at that talent and their draft statuses and all those kind of things. And you got the receivers now, and we can see that Gallup's going to be stepping it up. He's going to be –
and they got a good little connection. Him and Dak have started having a good little connection.
We saw that in the preseason and training camp as well, but now it's starting to really take shape.
Right.
So now you got Gallup.
Cole Beasley has some big catches the last
Cooper,
2 games. Yep.
Schultz looks promising as a
we'll
receiver.
We'll talk about that as well.
So, like you said, there's just no more excuses now. Like, what's it going to be now? What if he struggles now? What are we going to say?
Well,
we're going to say now we're back to the offensive line.
Well,
it's going to be that next.
Honestly, I told you, if Dak Prescott does not do it, I'm telling you, Scott Linehan is the one that's going to get the axe. Because they're still going to – Jason Garrett is still going to get one more year.
Somebody's going to be the scapegoat.
Somebody's going to be the scapegoat. It's going to be Scott Linehan. It's not going to be Jason Garrett. He's not going to find Jason Garrett. So it's going to be Scott Linehan because you would think in your head that Jerry and them will be thinking, fire Scott Linehan, get another offensive coordinator, keep your coach, keep your weapons, and let's see what happens with that. They're going to still stay all in until Dak Prescott's contract runs out.
Michael JC's asking us to talk about Coop over here on YouTube. Coop, if you missed it,
Michael,
man,
we talked hell about.
I say our first 20 minutes was all on him.
Yeah,
but that's the beautiful thing about what we're doing here.
That's why you got a fat rewind.
You can rewatch it on YouTube. Matter of fact, you can rewatch it. You can rewind it live on YouTube. Actually,
SoundCloud,
iTunes, Google Play, the
all
whole
that good stuff,
shebang.
man.
We're all the way out there. Yeah. Facebook Live.
Check it out.
Subscribe there as well. All you guys watching every week. Appreciate you always. I know I say it a lot, but I can't say it enough, so I got to keep saying it. So just can't thank you guys enough who leave comments and tune in with us and give us likes and shares and those kind of things. That stuff is special for us. So let's move on a little bit.
All right.
We'll just stay on the offensive side, and you kind of mentioned Beasley. And there was talks about him maybe getting some sort of long-term deal. So what do you think about that? Should they give him a long-term deal?
Well, I think now I told y'all. Let me.
And what is long term? Because he's already like 30.
He's 29, going on 30. So this is what I told everybody. Let me jump on and say what I said first about Cole Beasley. First, I said he should be traded last year because he's a commodity. He will do good in another system as well because he is a very good slot receiver. You can get commodity for him. They didn't do that. I felt like, well, his contract is up after this year. They did offer him. He felt like they lowballed him. He bet on himself. Now you have a situation where you have Amari Cooper in the fold. You have Michael Gallup. And they're all in on Dak Prescott. So I could see them going to Cole Beasley now saying, we want to extend you because now we want to grow with Dak Prescott. We have Amari Cooper. We have a Michael Gallup. You could still be a top slot receiver for us. And his numbers are not great. So if he goes to somewhere else, he might not get a top dollar deal anywhere else because of the numbers say so. Whereas he may get a good deal with Dallas and a 4-year deal, another security deal, because they're all in on Dak. So he still needs a weapon, and he's still one of the best slot receivers in the game. I don't care what anybody says. Cole Beasley is a dog, and that's why you want to use him. So I see him possibly getting another contract extension. I didn't see it before, but now with the Amari Cooper trade, it changes the dynamics with Cole Beasley because now you can say, well, you know what, Cole Beasley, let's sign you to a 3-4 year deal because we're super all in on Dak Prescott. We have Amari Cooper. We need to keep these weapons intact.
I'd like to thank our guy Law Nation for checking in
what
over
up,
here
Law?
on our Facebook. Make sure you guys
Tyson, what's up?
Tyson, Law Nation. Make sure you guys
What's
go
up with
and
y'all?
give those pages a like and a share.
Yes.
Dallas Cowboys Scouting and Law
Yes.
Nation. More great Cowboys content.
All day, all night.
Part of just the whole big picture, what we're all trying to do here together as Cowboys
Show
fans.
them love all day.
So appreciate you guys checking in, commenting, and talking with our people in here. We appreciate that. And then I know over here on YouTube, Daniel Meza and produced by Jerm both asking, when are you coming back to Dallas? So you want to tell them about that, what happens down there?
Hey, we kick it. And Tyson will also, like I said, he's also with that Cowboys experience. Make sure you check it out. It's second to none. I went out there a few weeks ago, maybe about 3 weeks ago when the Cowboys played the Lions. Barry Griffith, second to none. Their staff is just awesome. They got great packages as far as the game, the transportation. You can get field passes. We were actually on the field. We got to get those field passes. I mean, honestly, I had chills on my body, G, when I was that close, got to see those players. You know, when we went to the Philly game, how we were up top, it's a whole different realm when you're up top to when you're down level. It changes the game. It because you get to see and feel the players. When you're up top or when you watch a TV, you don't get to feel them. But when you get to see them up close, you get to see those guys, and it changes your perception of how you think about the team. So definitely, please go to the website, www.cowboysexperience.com. Second to none, top rated. They are the guys. Like I said, also Tyson's in here. You can get a hold of him. They got great packages. Second to none. Check them out.
Let me go ahead and give some more shout-outs before we jump into some more topics. I know a lot of new people just checking in with us.
Yes, sir. And I just want to give a shout-out to my guy, Johnny. Yeah. Your Giants, they suck. I just want to give a shout-out to you, Johnny. I see you in here. Your Giants suck, and I love it.
It's a bye week for us, so we didn't really have a time to go live like we traditionally would, going pre- and post-game shows. You already know we're going to be live hour before, hour after, so today was a little bit sporadic for us when we came on, so the fact that everybody's still able to get in here and talk with us, that is huge. Make sure you guys share this video for us too, and if you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Dale Marchand, he says, quit pitching, talk Cowboys. That's mostly what we do here, Dale, but thank you for tuning in, and thanks for that comment. We
appreciate you, Dale.
Appreciate you. Wendy Mason's in there, says, love me some Cole Beasley. We were just talking about him.
Hey, 80 stings.
Juan Madrid's in there.
All day.
Appreciate you. And Daniel and Jeanette Bruton, who tunes in every week with us. If I'm saying your last name right, I hope I am. We appreciate you. Samuel Mays, got you right there. He says, give me a shout-out, Samuel. I see you. Make sure you check back in with us. If we give you a shout-out, you give us a share. How about that?
Yeah, there it is.
Johnny Born Again's in there.
That's my dog.
He says, I can't lie, you're right, but remember, he ain't Dak good either. Not really sure if that was like a pun kind of thing.
Yeah, because that's my guy. He's a Giants fan. We've been going back and forth forever. So when I gave him that shout-out, I just want to let him know his Giants suck. But he was like, yeah, that's all right, but guess what, Dak? You know what I mean?
And don't you guys worry. We talk a lot of Cowboys here, but we also want to give you your love, and we want to appreciate you all for tuning in and make sure that everybody hears what you guys got to say too.
Mm-hmm.
We pop YouTube back up here on this screen for everybody.
But, yeah, let's talk about that damn defense. Vander Esch.
Hit on it.
Yeah, let's talk about this defense. Right now, I gave a little stat about defense needs to step up right now. Now, the offense has a correlation because the offense was like 30 ranked in the league as far as points scored, time of possession. It's really bad. When you look at the defense, it's going to stay on the field longer, so it's going to end up giving up plays as we've seen the last few weeks. But at the end of the day, when we've come across some teams, the Washington Redskins, we played the Seattle Seahawks, their lines were atrocious. Teams were beating them up, getting 5-6 sacks a game. We come in there, we didn't have I don't think we had any sacks against Seattle, maybe one, and their team had just gave up 6 sacks before. We played against the Redskins, and they gave up a boatload of sacks the game before. We played, and we only got 1 sack with David Irvin. So we've taken a hit. The first 4 games, I believe it was 10 sacks. We were looking like gangbusters. The last 3 games, it's only been 6 sacks. DeMarcus Lawrence has had 3 of those, and that was in the Lions game. Everybody else has only had 1. So that defensive line, as vaunted as we've been talking about, needs to step up. Randy Gregory has been uneven. Taco Charlton, I'm wearing your jersey. You got only 1 sack. DeMarcus Lawrence got 5.5 sacks, but he's been sitting on that the last couple of weeks. He's got a torn labrum. So those guys need to step up. Our linebacking core has been looking real good. Jalen Smith, I believe, has like 57 tackles, tied for 10th in the league. Vander Esch, rookie, tied for 16th in the league with 52 tackles, And Sean Lee came back last week, so that was good because you seen Vander Esch had that little injury, and you can have – that's the good thing about it, and that's why we got a Vander Esch. So when you can see one of those guys have injury, we don't have to sit there and say doom and gloom and like, oh, it's over. They're going to run all over us. Guys can still rotate. So the defensive line needs to step up. And when we're talking about a lot of people are talking about the safety position, with Ha Dix, because I feel like we're still suffering because Jeff Heath, as good as he plays – he takes the worst angles, dude. Like, if you get Jeff Heath in open field, you're going to shake him. You feel me? Kayvon Frazier, I don't believe he's a starter. You know, he's a good backup, good special teams core player, but I just don't think he's a starter. Xavier Woods, I don't know. I think he may have to go to corner because he's small, dog. Like, Xavier Woods plays the ball good, but you were at camp too. Xavier Woods is not a big guy. And if you have somebody that can put a body on him that can block him, he gets stonewalled. And that's a problem for us. So that safety position is still a guy in need. I threw it out there that what if the Giants offered Landon Collins? Would you take him for a second-round pick? You got Ha Dix that may be out there. The safety position, needs to be addressed because we're still lacking there big time.
Yeah, and you started talking about Vander Esch. You want to dive a little bit more into him and just how impressive he's been coming in as a rookie? I know we've hit on it before, but now we're not doing pre or post games, so we kind of really break it down.
Right.
Like, how impressive has he been coming in as a rookie? I guess he didn't have a ton of pressure on him, but knowing that he's probably going to play because Sean Lee's not there, and a lot of people were kind of down on that draft pick. So how impressive has he been for you?
I think he's been super impressive because, number one, I was down on the pick. I didn't want him at 19. I didn't think I thought we could get him later, second round. I thought we could get him in the second round because there's a couple things that were concerning to me was the injuries, and like I said, he wasn't being able to take on and shed the blocks with that size, and it was concerning to me in that small conference. And then when we went to camp, he had a few injuries. You were there when you saw him. He got hurt, and it was like, oh, boy, here we go. Is this going to be a Sean Lee type guy where he's injured all the time? For him to come in, and he didn't even start, for him to come in off the bench when Lee got hurt and take over the position like he did, number one, he's playing the middle. Jalen Smith, they've rotated back and forth. He's making a lot of linebacker calls. So to see what he's done, and he has the least missed tackles on the team, and that's a rookie. And when you've seen him, how many times have we seen our Cowboys guys that when you see a running back get in space, how many times do we see missed tackles from our guys? When you see Vander Esch, one of the biggest things that stand out to me is when he gets you in space, you're going down. When he wraps his hands around you, you are going down. That's the biggest key to me. And you see him. He plays really good in coverage. He's able to break off, go with the tight ends. He's got good speed, good awareness, and he's a thumper. And I think that's the biggest thing that has surprised me is that the tackling space. And he played 8-man football where he was at in, I believe it was, I don't know if it was Utah, one of those states he was from. but he played that 8-man football, and he said the biggest thing that 8-man football taught him was tackling in space, and you can see that in the NFL, and that is huge because how many times do we see these guys, receivers, when they catch a pass 2-3 yards on the Cowboys, and they get a 20-yard gain because we miss tackles and take bad angles? He's one of those guys that does not do that, and I think that's the biggest thing that has impressed me more than anything else.
Yeah, and you got to be really excited, too, moving forward because you got two guys that are very, very young and are obviously like cornerstone future players for you. And how great is it that you just have – you're going to get the last couple years of Sean Lee's career to just sit there and teach him everything that he knows and really hand over the torch to LVE. And like I said, the pressure is not very great on him because he has a Sean Lee there to back him up too. So – that's very exciting for Cowboys fans and the Cowboys going forward that you got a solid foundation to build on for your defense.
Yeah, and now you don't – and the biggest thing –
What was the comparison he got the most? Was it Brian Urlacher?
Brian Urlacher was the biggest comparison he got. And if you watch him, you look at Urlacher. Now, I don't think he has –
bigger.
He's bigger than Urlacher, but I don't think he has that closing speed that Urlacher had because, remember, Urlacher was a safety at New Mexico. Mm-hmm. So I believe Urlacher had better closing speed than Van Der Esch because it looks like he's just a little bit slower. But if you look at the size and the way Urlacher played, you can see the comparisons right there. But I'm just excited about that pick. As long as he stays healthy, he's going to keep continuing trending up, and he's going to get better and better. Look at what he's doing now in year one, G. And he hasn't even scratched the surface. You feel me? He hasn't even scratched the surface. So him and Jalen Smith growing together, I think that's going to be a dynamic duo. Still continue to replenish the linebacker core in the draft, but now you got a dynamic duo that you can look for years to come.
Yeah, you definitely have something to build on. Let's see here. Juan Madrid's asking about old Bendy, talking about Randy Gregory. He said, what's going on with him?
Well, I think, like I said, I got a little bit excited. I drank a little bit of the Kool-Aid. I do apologize. I think a lot of people were getting excited when we saw him in the preseason, getting in there, we're like, oh, he got a couple sacks. He looks good. But, we just like what we talked about with Jalen Smith, how we need to really temper the expectations in his first year. We said last year, G, with Jalen Smith, don't expect anything for him this year. Expect it this year. And what do we see? You're seeing it this year. We can use the same thing with Randy Gregory. As much as we got excited, we really can't expect much. He's been out of football for 2 years. He's got to pretty much get a full season under his belt. We think it's easy to come in the NFL and play, but it's not. You're playing against some of the top players, and you see it's not easy. So he's got to just take a slow grind, and he's still got to get better conditioning. He's still got to learn more moves. He can't rely on all athletic ability. So it's going to take his time. You'll see the real Randy Gregory next year, but he's going to get his feet under this year. But I don't think he's at a bad pace.
So looking at the
I think Taco Charlton is at a bad pace.
Yeah, I mean, we talked to Brandon Tucker about him a little bit last week.
Right.
If you guys missed that, go back and check that out.
Right.
Some great insight into the story behind maybe why Taco is or isn't doing whatever he's doing. But go check that out on last week's show. Law Nation in here on the Facebook Live. And, again, I'm going to come back to you guys over on YouTube. So hang in there with us. He says Patrick Peterson's right there. He says you got to move some picks to get him. Also, Patrick Peterson could be a transition to safety down the line. What do you think about that? I feel like he's going to want too much money.
I think he's going to want way too much money too, and I think that's the only reason why. And I as much as I love Patrick Peterson, he is 27, 28 now. He's getting near that 30-year-old, and I'm telling y'all should know, like everybody else, not every player is like that, but when you get to that 28, 29, 30-year range, I'm not trying. Yeah, just you worry about it because we've seen guys that are balling, and then the next year they just fall off. It happens. So I'm worried about paying him because he's going to want big money because he still feel like he's one of the best corners in the game. He's not going to settle for anything low. He's going to want top dollar. And is Dallas really going to spend that top dollar on him and he's 29, 30 years old? I don't see that happening at all. I don't see Dallas doing that. I feel like Dallas is going to keep on doing what they are doing. They jumped out there and said, listen, fans, we appeased y'all with Amari Cooper. Now shut the hell up and watch us do this draft. The only guy I see them probably going after now is possibly Earl Thomas with the injury because he had the broken leg. Now he can become cheaper. I could still see them going after him. But other than that, it's going to be that draft now, baby. They're going to keep giving up picks.
Law has another comment on the situation, he's basically saying think of it as like a Charles Woodson with Green Bay type situation, like where he could transition over and be super effective and even go win a Super Bowl later in his career.
I feel that, but is Dallas going to do it? That's what we have to think. Like, me and you feel that. Law, you feel that. I feel that. But are they going to do it? And I just don't feel like they're going to pay Patrick Peterson that Patrick Peterson money. He wants that big money. You know what I mean? And do you really think Dallas is going to pay that huge type money for him?
It's going to be Earl Thomas and this coming off season. That's what's going to happen.
It's only going to be Earl Thomas because now Earl Thomas doesn't have the leverage like he had before, and his contract is up after this year, isn't it? I think his contract is up after this year.
I'm not 100% sure.
I think he is a free agent, so I'm saying go after Earl Thomas. I know he's had the injuries, but he's going to be cheaper. Why wouldn't you go after him?
Dustin Merriman jumps in there.
What up, Dustin?
You, Dustin, my guy. Make sure you
haven't talked to you in a while.
Give us a like and a share on the video. Daniel Meza is in there,
What up, Daniel?
Appreciate you guys. Make sure you're sharing into them Cowboys Facebook groups because you know how much we appreciate that. And invite all your friends, too, because I'm network out there. I know the Cowboys Nation is huge, and everybody's got a lot of friends that love the Cowboys. So we can get them all in here and have everybody's voice heard as much as we can. I know we can't hit everybody, but we try. Let me look back over here on YouTube a little bit, give a little bit more love over here.
Law said he agreed 99%.
Flows Infinite says Lincoln Riley for offensive coordinator 2019.
That'd be dope.
Coordinator or head coach?
Maybe start off at coordinator and then grow into head coach. I mean, it could be a possibility. Richard is still out there as well. But, you know, if we really think about how Jerry's going to do it with Jason Garrett, he ain't going to just fire somebody and bring somebody in probably. It's got to be like a coordinator and grow in it because they like to hire from within. So the only way I could see it happening is them getting an offensive coordinator like they did Chris Richard with as the defensive pass coordinator, and then let him grow and then say, hey, something with Garrett, we already got a guy, let's move him on in. Jerry ain't going to take that time to go out there and searching and doing all that stuff. He's too old for that. He's already said he's already had the resistance for it.
Tyrone Church is in here. I'm looking over here on our YouTube channel right now. If you're not subscribed there yet, you guys should probably go ahead and go over there and subscribe. That's going to be the best way to watch the show every week.
Glory Hole.
Nook's in there says I wasn't. Yeah, I'm going to get right to some Glory Hole. Says I wasn't Randy Gregory. Is not disciplined enough to focus on football.
Nah, I don't think it's that. I don't agree with that.
The book is still yet to be written for that guy. Merciless Menace is in there. Says, what's good? What's up, Merciless? Appreciate you tuning in. King So jumps in. Says he had to join to tell y'all garbage. I don't understand
I
how
love
we're getting
y'all.
so many
We
other
love it.
fans in here.
Bro, we got to love the haters. The haters is what produce you. The haters is what continue to grow.
Lucho Yepes got you on the shout out. He asked for the shout out, and there you go, Lucho. Appreciate you tuning in. J1 is in there saying the NFC East is garbage. So a lot of non-Cowboys fans in here.
That's cool. We love it. Y'all give us props. Keep staying
They
in
must
here.
be a fan.
We
though.
love you.
It's weird though because it's like they are fans.
You
but
are a fan.
It's kind of weird.
You are a down low fan, and I appreciate you. I cannot get mad at you because, see, if you're always consistently talking about another team, it tells me one thing. It's jealousy and envy because I brought it up with one person. He always is talking about the Steelers and the Cowboys, the Steelers and the Cowboys. To me, if you're always talking about the Steelers and the Cowboys, you're saying, I wish we were like y'all. I wish we could have won all them Super Bowls. I wish we could have had that tradition. I wish we could have won all those games. And since we're not like that, I hate you. And because you're like that, I'm going to hate you for life. And that's what happens. And I can understand it. It's okay. It's okay. Stay on the page. Continue to love us. You will become a Cowboys fan.
We're going to convert you. So when we brought up the coaching talk about Lincoln Riley, we have some other comments coming in here. Dustin Merriman, Will Richards, Marvin Hargrove. They all seem to like Chris Richard as an option for maybe head coach. Juan says Sean Payton. Let me see what I'm getting at here. Law says he loves some Lincoln Riley.
I like a lot of people do.
But then there's a comment here from, let me see if I can find it because it was, okay, it's Lucky Johnson. He says Chris Richard is black, so there's no way he would ever be the head coach. Do you agree with that, or do you think there's anything to that?
I don't know. I can honestly say I don't know because we have a black quarterback, so I can't.
Never had a black coach.
Yeah, and they have black quarterbacks, and I know they haven't had a lot of black quarterbacks. So I think that could be something in the air, but I don't think that would stop them with the Cowboys for the simple fact that if Jerry likes you, it don't matter your color.
Say.
That's one thing I know about Jerry Jones. If Jerry Jones likes you, he don't care about your color of skin. He likes you, you ain't good for life with him. So if Jerry Jones loves some Chris Richard, which he does, because as I said last week, if heads were to roll, it was said that Dak Prescott and Chris Richard would be untouchable. Everybody else would go. So that should tell you something right there, how much he values Chris Richard.
Marvin Hargrove says Cowboys haters are closet fans. You have to be.
All day.
You have to be.
I mean, if you have an Eagles page, right, G? If you have an Eagles page and I'm on there saying Eagles suck, I got to think you're kind of good because I would not be on your page saying that. Like, I would not waste my time doing that. You have to have some, but I could go on the Eagles page and actually say they suck because they do. So y'all don't actually have no tradition, so I can't say that. But what people hate about the Cowboys, what it is, G, is because we're always in the media. People are always talking about us, and if we don't have the great record, people just hate us because they're tired of seeing us being talked about in the media all the time and we haven't won anything. That's the biggest hate.
King So says I was born in '96. Y'all never won a Super Bowl in my lifetime. And then Shad follows that up by saying it took Philly 50 years.
Right, so shut the hell up.
Yeah, it's just amazing how many people we got. Guru says, what envy? You haven't won in 30 years. So even though we're sitting here talking about how you guys watch the show,
it's envy.
You keep watching the show.
It's envy. I like it. It is envy because, we haven't won something, and it hasn't been 30 years. It's been probably like 23. It's still been a while. But if your team is in here, there's only one team that has more Super Bowls, and I'm not the guy that runs to the Super Bowl thing. I don't use the Super Bowl argument. But if you're talking about the reality of it, if you're a person on here hating, you probably don't have many Super Bowls.
I'm looking on YouTube. If you're just tuning in, I'm bouncing back and forth between YouTube Live, Facebook Live. We're live on both platforms right now, Silver and Blue Nation podcast every Sunday. So I'm just kind of bouncing back and forth. Nook says Jerry loves black people, going back to the conversation we were having a couple minutes ago.
Yeah,
Amrit Trivetti says Jim Harbaugh's my guy. He's proven.
That's your
the guy.
That's who you like.
That was my bold prediction going into next season.
That's who you like.
Somehow Jason Garrett gets fired and Jim Harbaugh loses to Ohio State, and then he wants to go ahead and leave Michigan because he can't beat the Buckeyes and come on to Dallas.
Can't beat the Buckeyes.
Let me see here. Oh, Law Nation, he gave us a super chat, so we appreciate you, Law.
We appreciate you, Law. Love you, dog.
He said salute, so thank you. He donated one to us. We appreciate that.
We appreciate you, my dog. That's our dog for life. Shout out to Tyson, too, because he gave a lot of good questions in here. I haven't heard him being that active in the page.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
So we appreciate you, Tyson, being on here, being that active. And, we appreciate everybody. But like I said, we really appreciate Tyson, Law, DDP. Those guys are out there grinding like us. We all in the same boat, trying to give y'all the best Cowboy stuff.
Todd McGowan says, thank you, Big Game James, for your love for the Dallas Cowboys. And he says, you too, Producer G. So the difference between me and Big Game James, a lot of you guys don't know the backstory, which we won't dive all the way into that. But but I want to say my love for the Cowboys is shown to you guys through what I'm doing from a production standpoint. I'm not going to be the analytical breakdown guy maybe like he is, but you can see my love for the Cowboys in what you see on the screen, and you hear it from him. You know what I mean? So it just kind of works together.
Mm-hmm.
So
we're like salt and pepper, like real life. I'm pepper, you're salt. We had the black and white sports report. I'm black and you're white.
It's really weird how it works. That's right. That's how we always said it too. It's just weird how everything works and how life works out. We both diehard Cowboys fans, happened to meet. We went to a school about broadcasting, and it's all just formulated and turned into this big thing that we're doing now.
We both were wearing Cowboys gear for first day.
Actually, I wasn't.
You weren't, but
no.
You came over to me and you were like,
and you wanted to test my knowledge.
Yeah, I test your knowledge because you came over to me. We would sit down. He would say, "Hey, you a Cowboys fan?" I said, "Mm-hmm." I said, "You a Cowboys fan?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, here come the questions."
Well, first thing you do when you go in there is you're looking for somebody to kind of bond with.
Yeah.
So it just kind of worked out perfect, and here we are, like 3 years later. Almost.
And he answered the good Cowboys question because I went deep. And he was ringing them off. I was like,
deep.
okay.
I am deep.
I said, okay.
I
said, there you go. Okay. I said, there you go. We flowing. He Cowboys. He real.
So we started the show off, and thank you, Arturo Lugo. He says we both do a great job. Thanks a lot for that comment. again, I mean, I can't tell you how much those kind of comments mean to me and us.
Daniel Meza said pinky in the brain. Yes.
Does somebody want glory hole? And I forgot to
Yes,
give it to
we
him?
need glory hole.
I forgot to give it to him, didn't I?
Give me some glory hole. Need right now.
Oh, I better get it up, huh?
You got
here
it.
when it was glory hole days, and
Give him
I've been
2
here
glory
when
holes.
it wasn't. And so, having said that, I want me some glory hole.
I know some people have been waiting on some glory hole. That never gets old.
How can that get old? This how he says it. This how he says. Say it one more time.
And so, having said that, I want me some glory hole.
I mean, hey,
It never gets old.
if you just take the context of how he says it, the context.
Right. It could go so many different ways. But let's get back to some topics. We were talking Amari Cooper early on in the show. We can kind of get a little bit back.
We're cracking the
on
tubs
that
too,
side
Miami
of the
Vice.
ball, at least. So, again, with Cooper, so obviously now you got him coming in. You got Beasley saying it's going to be dangerous now.
Right.
But a guy that no one might be thinking about, maybe under the radar, Michael Gallup here, this might impact him more than anybody. So how does the Cooper trade impact him? And you've seen what he was starting to do. Can he build on that, be consistent, and how does this help him out?
Oh, hell yeah. We loved Michael Gallup from the beginning when we saw him at the Combine. We liked Michael Gallup. I like Michael Gallup. You saw him. You liked him as well. You liked some other guys, but you did like what he brought to the table when we saw him at the Combine. Just watching him grow, you see him. I mean, looking at him, doesn't it seem like the confidence is growing with him? I mean, he's making big catches. The one big catch he had in Jacksonville where he caught it over the guy's helmet, it wasn't the greatest pass, and he snagged it out of there. He's catching a lot of good slant passes, tough catches too. Not easy catches. He's making tough catches. He has the big touchdown. And then even on the route where Dak fumbled, he lost the cornerback on that play too. So the route running is getting even better. But he was a good route runner at Colorado State. So the thing that makes him better now, Amari Cooper. Now you got a bona fide number 1. Now you can slide a Michael Gallup as your solid, strong number 2. And you remember when they had Jerry Rice, you heard about Jerry Rice, and you had John Taylor, when you had Randy Moss and a Chris Carter. I'm not saying, but when you have one dog and then you got a one dog A, it makes your team that much more explosive. And I just think Gallup is going to continue to grow. So when people focus on Coop, Gallup gets another touchdown. When they're looking at Coop, Gallup gets another slant pattern. I think it's going to be a world of greatness for Gallup, and I think he's just going to continue to emerge. He's going to be I love Gallup. I do.
Yeah, I feel like he's really explosive. You can definitely see that when he's out there. Like, just he has that burst,
and he's got a good mindset.
He's got that second gear or third gear, whatever, like he just kicks it up another notch when that ball's in the air. But for me, it's going to come down to how can Dak Prescott, handle all this, because so far as we've seen, no 1,000-yard receivers. You got Cole Beasley getting 9 catches in one game, and the rest of your guys getting 1 catch each. I don't want to see games where guys are just disappearing. Right. So that's something I worry about. Is he going to be limited with the quarterback? And then the biggest thing that stands, well, not the biggest thing, but one of the things that stand out when I watch him play and he catches the ball, I just get these visions of Dez Bryant. Like, he just looks just like Dez physically, the way he catches, the way he runs, the way just his body language. He just reminds me a lot of Dez. I feel like we basically got a mini Dez in return for him.
A younger one, but a faster one too. And I think he was a lot better.
Not at quite as big, but
not as big. But I think he's a better route runner than Dez. He's definitely a better route runner than Dez. The hands. I think he still may have bad. People talk about the drops, but I think his hands are super solid.
He's been one of the more impressive.
He's he's not a body catcher. He catches it with his hands. So just if you're saying that that's a mini Dez, we got a younger version. So when we saw Dak Prescott with Dez, we saw Dez on the way out Dez. We didn't see Dak Prescott with a 2014 Dez. You feel me? Yeah. So we can't see how that combination would have been dynamic because we didn't get Dez in his young years. We're getting Amari Cooper in his young years. Dak Prescott's only 24. Now you got Amari Cooper's only 24. You get what I'm saying? You got a Michael Gallup who's 22, 23. You got that core where you can grow now. You get what I'm saying? And then you got a Cole Beasley. Yeah, he may be 29, but now you can sign him to a 3-4 year deal because you got a foundation. And it's okay to hit him with a 3-4 year deal because it's not going to kill you. He's not going to command crazy money. Cole Beasley's not. So you can re-sign him to a good deal as well.
Like I said, man, it's just going to come down to the quarterback in my mind. There's no more excuses. This is it.
I mean, and as I said before, if the offense doesn't produce this year, Scott Linehan's going to be the one to go. It's not going to be Jason Garrett or Dak Prescott. It's going to be Scott Linehan's going to be the first one going to get the axe.
C.J. Richardson loves the glory hole. He chimed in with his comments, the fire emojis for the glory hole.
Yes, we love him.
Everybody loves that glory hole.
So what are we talking about with this schedule looking like? These next upcoming games.
Yeah, I actually had my cousin had asked me a question before we went on. He was asking me, well, we didn't dive into specific games, but he was saying over the next 6 games, what do you think the Cowboys' record will be? And my answer is pretty simple because it's the same pattern we've been on, 3-3. Like that would make sense. You know?
And that wouldn't be good because if we were 3-3, you'd have us at
we'd be 7-7.
7-8 because we're under. So
it would be 7. We're 4-4 right now, right?
No, we're 3-4.
3-4.
Yeah, we're 3-4. So we are end up 3-3 at the half. We're
6-7. Yeah, so
6-7.
Either way, I mean that's just been the pattern.
Right.
3-3, 8-8. I think I saw a stat with the last 10 games. It's win loss, win loss, win loss, just like that. The pattern. That's what it's been, and we've always been saying the average.
We're average team. We're average coach, and that's the problem. That's the problem. Like Jerry, to me, is like, okay, you can be all in on Dak Prescott. You can be all in on getting Amari Cooper. It's cool. But at the end of the day, is your coach going to get you over the hump? You can have the weapons, but just because you have the weapons doesn't mean you're going to win those games. As I said before, we seen it when the Cowboys won that Super Bowl in '95. I'm gonna keep going back to that. I feel like the players won that Super Bowl in '95. It was not Barry Switzer coaching that damn team that won that Super Bowl, dog.
Oh, there's no question.
You feel me? I watched that. I watched that team.
Jimmy Johnson's team.
Yeah, I watched that team formulate, and you had leaders and veterans. Troy Aikman. Those guys knew what to do. So the coach didn't have to sit there and be so hands-on because the players knew what to do.
You might not even needed a coach.
Yeah, for real, because they were so entrenched on what the goal was. You get what I'm saying? So that's the only time where I can see us winning a Super Bowl with Garrett is the players are so good. But right now, our team is average. So if we don't have the above-average players and you have an average coach, where do we think we're really going to go to a Super Bowl, folks? I'm not trying to be a narcissistic or a pessimistic, but let's be honest with ourselves in this, folks.
Angel Zubia, and I'm looking on Facebook Live. Angel Zubia says, what about Terrence Williams real quick?
Bye.
See ya. So this will be the last season for him.
He's it. He's done. I
think a lot of people are wondering why he's just not cut right now.
I don't know. Waiting? It don't make no sense, but I think what I've heard is, from Mike Fisher and these guys, that if they cut him, they're not losing anything by cutting him. They're not gaining anything by keeping him, so that's why they just do. I just think they have a deep love for Terrence Williams, and they're just trying to be nice.
It's amazing how guys just fall off like that.
Man, he was never great, though.
Appreciate the comments. Wendy Mason says Gallup's going to be a star. I agree with that, Wendy. I definitely think, like I said before, with the right kind of quarterback play, I think Gallup could definitely
He's a good player.
He's
a good player.
Daryl Brown says, who is Amari Cooper replacing as a starter?
Well, it was what you had. Allen Hurns was starting.
Yeah, that would be it.
Yeah, Allen Hurns is gone.
I would say Gallup's going to play over Hurns for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Gallup should be starting over Allen Hurns right now. And honestly, Allen Hurns was a slot guy. When we looked at him at Jacksonville, he was a slot guy. He was a number 20. He was a slot guy, but he did most of his damage in the slot. So let's continue to throw him in the slot and throw Beasley in the slot. And also now you got Tavon Austin. When he comes back, we're forgetting about him. When he comes back from his injury and you got Amari Cooper, that makes Tavon Austin now he's more explosive as well, because that's where Amari Cooper and having a number one receiver, even though we said it don't make you win Super Bowls, but it does help your team as far as threats. It helps the other guys produce because people will focus on that top guy. Other players can get the ball.
Yeah, and just to show you kind of how sad our offense has been up to this point, it's like Tavon Austin really was like one of our best deep threats, like down the field plays.
Right.
Like that was happening a lot with him. And like he shouldn't be your number one down the field type player.
No.
C.J. Richardson says offensive line play will be the key going forward. I agree with that.
Yes.
That's what I was saying when we talk about excuses.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to say when we have the next bad game? Now it's the offensive line. That's the last thing you have to blame it on.
Yeah, I mean,
there's nothing else to blame it on now. We got receiver. Well, I guess tight end you could say, but receivers, quarterback, running back, we're good. So offensive line's the last remaining excuse.
I think the biggest thing that people are frustrated, I've been frustrated with the guy we brought from the Bengals, Paul Alexander. Now, I watched a lot of his teachings in the offseason, and I was really excited about his teachings. It seemed like a lot of the players like him. But just because the players like you don't mean that you're effective in winning and getting things done. I told everybody, I made a post a few weeks ago that it killed us when we got rid of Bill Callahan. When he went to the Redskins, I almost wanted to cry. When he left, I almost wanted to cry because he had our line play. And look at Adrian Peterson. That's all you got to do it. Adrian Peterson is 33 years old. He may get 1,000 yards. He's one of the few 33-year-old rushers getting 1,000 yards. What do you think that has to do with? Not Adrian Peterson, just Adrian Peterson. That's that line play, and that's that line blocking scheme. When we had Pollock, he came over. He went to the Bengals. They're doing better. Your boy Alexander comes over us. We regress. That has something to do with coaching. Is it not correct? Because when we're playing at home, it seems like everything's together. When we're on the road, the communication, the line, it seems like it's all in shambles. That has to fall on coaching. That just can't not be the players.
Yeah, I mean, coaching has to play a role at some point in the situation. Lucky Johnson says, is Dak ready to finally admit now that he needs a number 1 receiver?
I think we all probably will. Jerry Jones admitted it. The Cowboys admitted it, 2 weeks ago, that, yeah, we probably needed a number 1 receiver. But that doesn't get you over the hump as far as a Super Bowl. You get what I'm saying? But it does change the dynamic of your offense. I mean, it just does. I mean, if you have a top guy like a Julio Jones, that just does not make your offense that much better, but that doesn't guarantee you a Super Bowl because you have a number 1 receiver. That's just a fact.
Pharrell Dub D Jenkins, and I'm looking again on Facebook Live, says, man, it seems like we're an every other week team, and I really feel like we should have been undefeated going into the bye week. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying when we talk about what's our record going to be the next 6 games. I'm looking at 3-3 because that's what it's been the last 10 games, 500. So well, I'm going to continue to expect that, but hopefully Cooper gives you enough to maybe get you an extra win or 2.
Yes, I mean, like I said, the frustration is this. When we were talking about when the Eagles won the division last year, they won, 13 games last year, I believe. This year it's a down year in the NFC East. The frustrating part is whenever we have like a down season, like in the league as a whole or the NFC East as a whole, the Dallas Cowboys don't capitalize on it. That's the frustrating part. This is the biggest time to take over the East right now. The Washington Redskins are freaking 5-2. Are you serious? The Washington Redskins, I will say it again, are 5-2. I'm sorry, I don't believe in the Washington Redskins at all. They have John Gruden as their coach, but they are playing sound fundamental football. And here's the thing. When you watch the Washington Redskins, are they that talented? No. So you have to say, gee, right now, coaching has a big part of it. So when we say that coaching doesn't mean anything or we can't blame the coaches, well, the Redskins are 5-2, and I'm sorry, I just don't think the Redskins are a great team, but coaching has really helped them.
Isn't it funny how we pretty much say in the same sentence, on one hand, the 90s teams can win without a coach. Right. Now we're like, the coaches are holding us back. It's just funny how that
works. It's weird.
Wendy Mason agrees with you, and she says, and she adds to what you said. She says, plus, we're talking about Adrian Peterson with the Redskins and how well he's playing. He hasn't played since 2015.
Right.
To add that on top of what you were saying.
I mean, they were saying he was done when he went to the Saints and he played with the Cardinals, and then he comes with the Redskins and he's reborn. That has something to do with that coaching and that line play.
Law Nation says we always play down to the level of the teams we
Hell
play.
Yes.
I mean, I can agree on that on some levels because we play a team like Jacksonville and we blow them out. You know, it's not a close game against them.
Right.
But then, yeah, I mean, most of the games you feel like you should win, you still find a way to where the other team that you're playing has a chance to win it at the end, if not a better chance.
Well, you know why? I think the biggest reason what that to me, G, is because Jason Garrett is conservative. He's a conservative coach. And when you're conservative, even when you play a team that you should destroy, when you have that conservative mindset, it keeps that other team in the game. When you coach conservative, I don't care. I've coached. When you coach conservative, you lose. You don't win games because you're worried about making a mistake. And when you're worried about making a mistake, you make the mistake. It happens all the time. You have to play smart, but you have to play with a reckless type of abandon, because if you don't, you will lose. It happens every time. And we always seem to play on that conservative side. And it's like when we get a lead, we kind of pull back the reins and start going into conservative type offense and defense. And it always bites us. How many times have we seen us get a 21-point lead, a 14-point lead, the team comes back and beats us?
Looking over here at YouTube comments, appreciate everybody checking out over here. Ori says 95, the team was full of dogs. They wanted it more. Probably talking about more so than what the teams that we have now.
I don't know about that. I just feel like that when you guys got new guys that are taking the league by storm, you haven't seen them, it changes everything.
Flows Infinite says, get Deontay out of here, bruh. Talking about Deontay Thompson. So why are they holding on to him? He's done nothing.
I don't know if it, I think the main thing.
Special teams a little bit.
I don't know. I think it's the main thing they're holding on to him is that draft pick. I don't know if they have to keep him for a certain amount of time because they can get that 4th round pick back. I think that's the key. They're holding on to him because he's been hot garbage the last few weeks, and come on, Deontay Thompson. First of all, he looks old as hell. Have you seen him? He looks old as hell.
Yeah, he does. Nook says, how long is Tavon Austin out? And Electric Chicken also wants to know.
He has that groin injury. I haven't heard an update about him lately. I think he may be out another week. Also, I'll bring up an injury front is Jeff Swain. He is definitely going to be out against the Titans. So we need to have somebody step up. They play Schultz. He got a pass last week against the Redskins. That's going to be what's really going on with Jeff Swain being out. Who's going to be the starter at the tight end position? Is it going to be Blake Jarwin? Is it going to be Schultz, who's been inactive every game except the Redskin game? Or Rico Gathers, who they have no trust in, it seems like? That's going to be the key right there. That's a big loss losing Swain.
So Nook and wait, what'd you say about Austin? When's he?
I said probably another week for Austin.
Guru says Tavon's one of the biggest first-round busts in history, but this is one of the haters that's tuned in with us.
About that one. That's
Stevie
crazy.
Mac 23 says, I heard they're keeping T. Will just in case we lose a receiver or two later on, maybe in a playoff battle. So he's saying just for the rest of this season.
I wouldn't say that because we still got Noah Brown. Noah Brown is eligible off for injury reserve right now.
Let's see here. Appreciate you guys making comments over here on our YouTube channel. Tyrone Church says to the next 6 games coming, he says 5-1. If you're thinking 5-1, you must be pretty confident in Cooper because, like I said, the last 10 games it's 500. So, and it's not you haven't lost 2, you haven't won 2 in a row. So I don't have a lot of reason to think that they might go on some sort of winning streak right now.
Titans don't have a bad team
unless Cooper makes that big of a difference.
Titans aren't a bad team. You know what I'm saying? They got a good defense.
Matt Shelby checks in on YouTube, says,
what up,
hey,
Shelby?
finally caught you guys
what
live.
What up, Matt?
Appreciate you, Matt. We are live every Sunday. We're going to work to try to have more frequent content coming and be able to put out a better schedule of when we might be live when the games aren't going. Usually we're here at 6:30 on Sundays, but it's season, so things are changing. But as you can see, lots of comments coming in through YouTube. Thanks to all you guys who are leaving comments there. And also over here on Facebook, Daniel Meza, he's on both. So you could be like him. You could jump on YouTube. You could jump on Facebook. I don't see Ron Smith tonight in here with us, but I know he's also on both platforms. Wendy says, what the hell, 6-0. John says 4-2.
Mine as well. I mean, what the hell? Why not?
John says Lance Lenoir. Bring him in.
Yeah, but
you think he'd be better than Deontay Thompson?
He could be because he was making hella catches. Just don't put him on no special teams. Lance Lenoir cannot play special teams at all. He got to be in there. But for real, I want to see Noah Brown.
Daniel says, how are all the haters finding our channel? I'm really not sure about that. It must be from our post-game reaction shows. That's
probably so, but that's cool. I love it. You got to have the haters. You can't have everybody on your channel loving you. And the haters what makes it better. I mean, it makes it better when the haters jump on there because then we can talk trash against them bums.
Dustin said 0-6. Garrett's still the coach. Bam Franklin checks in. What's going on,
What up,
Bam?
Big Bam?
Appreciate you.
Appreciate Big Bam. Salute.
Eric Doxson's wanting to talk about Jason Garrett and the World Series this weekend, so we're going to go ahead and
let's
dive
talk
into
about that.
So do you have a problem with what he was doing? I know some people think he shouldn't have been doing that on a bye week, but what do you think?
I mean, honestly, I'm not tripping off of that. Now, Jimmy Johnson, I posted an article where Jimmy Johnson said perception. That's a difference. He said perception of since the team is 3-4, you're on a bye week, you should be in the office trying to get the things to work. But these people are human beings too, folks. They are human beings. So I am not hating on him being at the World Series because he can't be in the office all damn day. There's nothing wrong with him going on a night game, watching the World Series. Him being in that office, possibly, I mean, it's okay. I'm not tripping off that. I don't think that's going to have any bearing. Just like that trip with Romo to Mexico. That's not why they lost. Folks, come on. That's not why they lost, because they took a trip to Cabo. Romo did everything he could in that game. It was Patrick Creighton dropping passes. You feel me? So I ain't tripping off him being there. Perception says get your butt in the office because we're 3-4, but
if it was a playoff week, I don't think we'd be happy with it. But
yeah, but it's a bye week. I mean, what are we supposed to do? I mean, that's just like you saying, well, if you saw Ezekiel Elliott there, would you be mad?
No, not this
exactly.
week. No.
So you wouldn't say nothing if Ezekiel or Dak or anybody else was there.
Your coach does set the standard. I will say that
he does set the standard, but coaches are human beings too.
He's supposed to be the example.
He's still a human.
So let me. Law Nation says yes. Bring in Lance Lenore, and Dustin Merriman's asking about the phone lines. We're not opening them up today, Lance, but we definitely would love to do that next week.
He said Lance.
Did I say that? Dustin, my fault. Hey, Dustin. I didn't mean to call you Lance.
He was Lance Lenore. Lance Lenore calling in?
Hey, that just goes to show
Lance
you
Lenore calling in?
how my mind is just on. I'm trying to keep up with these comments, man.
Lance Lenore's calling in.
I wish I could really hit every single person's comment and say everybody's name. I really try, but it's so hard. I need somebody to really help me with the comments, for real.
Help me.
But Dustin, no phone call this week. We're definitely going to open that
next
up
week because it'll be rants. Rapid fire.
We're actually about to wrap this up here soon, so I just want to appreciate again.
Hey, my dog Antonio Lawrence asked, "Do you think?" I'm gonna ask you, G. He says, "Do you think we end up 6-10 or 7-9?"
Real quick, Wiseman Santana agree with you. Said he also wants to see some Noah Brown.
Mm-hmm.
You said 6-10 or 7-9.
That's what my dog Antonio. Or do you think we are gonna? What do you think?
What's my final record?
Yeah, what's your final record now after you seeing us right now?
8-8.
8-8.
8-8. 500. That's the type of coach we got, and that's the type of quarterback we got. We got a quarterback that's going to give you a dud game, and then he's going to come back and give you a sweet game. And he's going to go give you a dud game, and he's going to come back and give you a sweet game. It's inconsistency.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the ability to win and to be great, because sometimes you're like, we look like the best damn team in the league.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, we look like the worst team in the league.
That's crazy, ain't it?
So
I think that's the frustrating thing for all of us Cowboys fans and people alike, is that one game you see us, you're like, damn, we could be really good. But it's like you can't get excited because then the next week we throw a dud. Just like I said, I didn't get excited about that Jacksonville win because I knew that Redskin game was going to be more important. You know what I mean? Just like this Titans game, I have to see. It's like I don't know what my team is right now. I don't know. And that's a frustrating feeling when you don't know what team is going to show up each week. That's where we're at right now with the Cowboys. You do not know what team is going to show up. It's a classic Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
That's what I've been saying all year. Every time we do a show and we're like, so what are you looking for after this game?
You don't know.
Coming off of a win.
I mean, honestly.
Every time we've come off a win and we do a post-game reaction show, I'm like, we say, what are you looking for going forward going into the next week? My same thing every week, and you say it too, consistency. That's what we want to see from this team. We just have not seen it. And that's why I'm like 8-8. I mean, that's just the bottom line. You ask me when we're going in 6 games, 3-3. Like
right.
That's just how it is. I'm expecting a win next week because it's due. Loss coming off a loss.
And then we go at Philly.
That's going to be a loss.
And then we're at Atlanta.
We might get that revenge game this year just because that would be due for us to come off of a bad loss to the Eagles and then respawn and make everybody happy again for a week. And then
then we play the Redskins.
You all know how it goes. Everybody watching, you all know how it goes.
Yeah, y'all know how it goes.
D's Nuts says over here on YouTube, you love these YouTube handles. D's Nuts says, is 20 quarterbacks better than Dak? Maybe.
I mean, I'm going to say one thing about Dak Prescott. I'm not going to really kill Dak because, like I said, he does have to get better. But if you really – I'm gonna keep it real. That Washington game really showed a lot to me about him. So I'm really just – I'm wanting everything good for Dak right now because when he took that hit – in that Washington game, I can't tell you right now how many other quarterbacks would have got their ass back up and played in that game. Like, straight up. How many quarterbacks would have got back up in that game and played?
See, I don't look at it as much as you do. I feel like he came back knowing, like, I can't miss time because I don't want to lose my job.
Man, that could have been too, but he is a competitor. He is a fighter. He is a leader.
Yeah, I won't disagree with that.
And he fights to the end. He fights to the end.
I also feel like he's insecure because he knows that at this point, no one's signing him to a long-term contract. So he's got to He
I
can't
don't know.
afford it.
Jerry's giving him that backup though.
He's not going to be affording Cooper. Yeah, but we've seen that. He's not going to take a chance of Cooper Rush coming in and playing well and unseating him or something like that.
Controversy.
Blue got 5. I'm looking on YouTube. He says Richard is the only coach with any type of fire. I could agree with that.
I'm not going to agree with that because there's other guys on that staff that have fire. You just happen to see Chris Richard because the cameras are on him when he's going off. I
guess I could agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? Like the media is going to show Chris Richard going off, but that doesn't mean he has more fire than anybody else. That's not true. I don't agree with that.
From what we can see, from what fans can see, yes,
he's got hella fire.
That's what you would
I love
assume.
it, but that doesn't say he has
Nook
the most.
Nook says he thinks we're on the way up. Thinks 10-6 makes the playoffs.
Hell, 9-7 can make the playoffs in our division.
Guru says check down Alex, beat y'all and laughs. So I wish that these guys who want to try to talk trash or think that we're some like crazy delusional, like you say, unicorns and rainbows Cowboys fans, like go back and watch the game. You'll hear how bad like the Cowboys got their asses whooped by Big Game James.
Yeah.
For letting Alex Smith do something like that.
Yeah.
And
Alex Smith is whack.
Yeah, so we know that, Mr. Guru, so you don't even need to say it because we already know it. So we appreciate you.
We love you,
appreciate
hater.
your comment.
I'm gonna get a shirt saying I love haters because I seen a shirt. This guy had it. He said I love the haters. I think I'm gonna get me a shirt saying that too with the Cowboys on the front, saying I love the haters because y'all some hating fools all the time. Just be hating all the time. Always got Cowboys in your mouth.
John Zapita says Dak ain't losing his job to Cooper Rush. I mean, you just never know. You can't really just say that. I mean, you don't know. What has Dak done to be like he's going to be hard to replace? I haven't seen that.
Well, but Cooper Rush is not good.
Well, we got to see it. I mean, we haven't seen it. We don't know.
I do.
I don't think we do. If you know, then why is he still on the Cowboys?
He won't be. If Cowboys cut him, he won't be nowhere else.
I think he'd get a chance somewhere.
He ain't gonna start.
I think he did that with his preseason performance last year.
Maybe, but he'll never be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Slim Cuddy says Dak's not that bad. I think he just plays safe. Those are receivers. He don't trust his receivers. Matt Shelby says they load the box all the time on us, which means people are open somewhere. Dak needs to see the field better, period. Yes,
that's not all the way true because I posted a stat and so where the 8-man box and Ezekiel Elliott is only seeing 24% of 8-man boxes. There's a lot of other running backs seeing bigger 8-man fronts than him.
Well, I will definitely agree that Dak needs to see the field better.
He definitely needs to see the field,
which is what Shelby said.
But he's not getting stacked boxes.
Ori says Gary Brown, the coach, has fire.
Gary Brown does have fire. I like Gary Brown because I watched him at Houston when he played with the Oilers running back. Bet y'all didn't know that.
Todd McGowan's talking about Undisputed and Chris Carter, first things first, how they're giving Amari Cooper all this love and think that he's going to do well.
They do. I mean, he is. I mean, Chris Carter, you know, he's hard on Dallas. But one thing I like about Chris Carter is I don't feel like he's a hater like a Shannon Sharp. Like a Shannon Sharp, he's a hater, dog. Like, he don't give real analogies to me sometimes because he just hates so much. Chris Carter don't hate like that. I think he tells more of the truth. And he really gives a real analytical opinion of the team. And I think it's good because he actually looks at the players and he knows from the receiver position how much better that makes us and how much it helps Dak Prescott become a better player. And didn't we say before, G, that we didn't know if Dak was a franchise where he can carry a team without just no weapons? So now you said we need Dak Prescott because we don't know if he's a franchise guy. He needs weapons around him to make him better. Is that not true? And that's what they're doing. What's wrong with that?
John Zapito on a Facebook Live, he says he was trashed this preseason, though, talking about Cooper Rush. Yeah, he might have had a bad preseason, but my point is when you show something great in this league, even if it's the smallest little glimpse, we see it a million times, just the littlest tiny bit of potential, teams are going to be salivating on that. So I do think he would get a chance somewhere. Maybe not to come in and be a starter, but somebody's going to definitely be intrigued by what he did that season because you saw a little bit of a glimpse.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes a long way in this league. Look at a lot of these guys that get large contracts who've never even played or barely played at all.
Bam Franklin brought up something about Connor Williams. I'm not mad. I like Connor Williams, okay?
What did he say? What did he say?
He was just saying because Connor Williams, if you really had to look at the all-22 tape now.
Well, what did he say?
He's saying that we need to replace him at left guard.
Okay, so he's saying no. He said that was a bad draft pick, basically.
Yeah, but I don't think it was. I think Connor Williams is a good player. He is a good player. If you watched him, does he mess up? Yes, he has missed blocks. He's light in the pants. I told you, people saying he's 315. I don't believe that. You got to put him on the scale and say he's 315. I think he's about 300, and we knew he was going to struggle at guard. He was more of a tackle. You knew he was going to struggle because he didn't have the weight. But if you're looking at him as far as a technical player and how he can get out, he's athletic, I don't think Connor Williams is a bad pick. And Marcus Marshall, who I follow on Twitter, brought something up big that Zach Martin came in the league, I think, at like 23, almost 24. Connor Williams is only 21. That's huge.
Bam agrees with you that he's a good player, but he's just undersized.
Yeah, he's just undersized, but get him in that weight room another year, he'll grow.
Eric Doxson says, what about Zeke's lack of production in the last game? Was that all on the offensive line? Or for me, it would be you might not recognize that the Redskins' defensive line has shut running backs down all season.
I think Law, and shout out to Law on this. He posted a stat for all the players that the Redskins have played against.
Yep.
None of them did anything. Not one running back has done anything on the Redskins. That front is good. Kerrigan, the Allen, your other boy from Alabama, both of them Alabama boys, those are stout guys, and they were giving them fit. So nobody is running on the Redskins this year. And the Redskins have always had a good defensive front. I mean, come on. Even when the Redskins haven't been good, they've always kind of had that good defensive front. That's where they've always kind of made their money, is on the offensive and defensive lines. That's where they always love to build.
Law says Connor's playing solid but not great, and he says the real issue is La'el Collins at right tackle.
I think so too, because if you look at La'el Collins, when we talk about why did not Zeke get yards, please, if you got subscription, watch that all 22 film. You see La'el Collins getting manhandled by linebackers, getting blown off the ball. And the problem with La'el Collins is that his technique, to me, he reaches. When he reaches and he lunges and doesn't do proper technique, he gets all off balance, and people can use his weight against him, and they throw him off. And he just gets blown off the line too much. I think maybe, I'm not for sure, but you know how they hyped him as a first-round top 10 pick? Maybe he wasn't that guy. Maybe he wasn't, because he hasn't been gangbusters, and he's getting paid big money at that right tackle position. He's getting paid really good money to be one of the top right tackles in the league, and he just is not that.
Jay Rish, thanks for your comment on Facebook Live. I see you there. Ellis Antonio, he says we might need a coaching change. Look at how the Rams got rid of Fisher and then had a new system, and now Goff's a Pro Bowl quarterback.
Let's jump on that. Remember we were talking outside of that, G? That's all great. Now, folks, we hear about McVay over there at the Rams doing this and doing that, but folks, McVay ain't won nothing yet. Okay, so we're all hyped about what McVay is doing at the Rams, 7-1. But what if they go 14-1 or 15-1, G, and they lose in the first round, or they lose in that first? They have home field advantage and they lose.
Often.
That happens all the time.
We know 16.
Hey, I remember the Packers when they were 15-1. They were blowing everybody out, and they lost in their first divisional game, home field advantage. So the pressure is on you. So we're talking all this McVay stuff, but if they go all that way and don't do anything in the playoffs, what does that matter? You feel me? So everybody slow your brakes on McVay, because McVay ain't won nothing yet. He ain't did nothing in the NFL yet but won games. We've seen coaches win games in the NFL and ain't did nothing. Look at Andy Reid. How many games has he won in the NFL and still does not have a Super Bowl title? So slow the brakes on McVay right now, because he ain't won nothing yet.
Looking again on Facebook Live, Ed Clark makes a quick comment. He says, take the cuffs off of him, let him change plays, run the offense, stop running the same plays. Tony Romo called out every play. So I think he's talking about Dak there. That's kind of what I was saying when we were talking too before about Dak Prescott's confidence in his abilities. Maybe that's why he's a little bit afraid to take that lead and just, this is the play I'm running because I know I can make this throw. You know, I don't know if he feels that way. So that's kind of some of my thoughts on it. And moving along in the comments a little bit, people still dogging me about my Cooper Rush comments, but that's all right. That's all right. Straight
they
trash.
Killing you about
line.
Cooper. He garbage. He's a good backup. He'll never start in the NFL. Cooper Rush will never, ever, ever start in the NFL. And he definitely ain't starting those 16 games.
Law Nation says he loves it when La'el Collins wants to play downhill and he's pulling, getting that second level. He said that's probably when he's at his best.
But they're not. Are they going to ask Law? Do they think they're really going to switch him? They're not going to switch Connor Williams now. They're going to keep Leal.
You mean switching back to guard?
Yeah, they're not going to switch him back to guard because they're paying. People need to understand is that the reason why they're probably not going to switch him because they're paying him right tackle money. If you sign a guy to a contract to a certain position, that's the position they're going to keep him at. Because what if they move him from right tackle? They paid him right tackle money. They move him to left guard. He blows up. Now, how are they paying him? You get what I'm saying? Like when they talk about tight ends, when Jimmy Graham was getting frustrated because he wanted to be no more than a tight end because he does receiver work, he was trying to get it, and they're like, no, you're a tight end. So that's why they can't keep switching positions when they just re-sign him to a right tackle money. They're not going to switch him back to a left guard.
Yeah, and then you end up wasting time like we've seen with Byron Jones so far.
You're doing the back and forth. You got to let him stay one place.
Wendy was agreeing with you on the 15-1. They were 15-1, then they went one and done.
Yeah, and Vikings did it. Packers did it. We've seen it time and time again.
Let's see. I had some other comments I wanted to hit here if I can see them.
Did y'all watch Cam Fleming in the preseason? I'm sorry, man. Cam Fleming, this is my opinion on Cam Fleming. He needs to stay on that bench. That's my opinion on Cam Fleming. I watched him in the preseason. He did not look great, and I do not want him coming in at right tackle. He's not better than La'el Collins, y'all. Like, La'el Collins may be struggling, but Cam Fleming is not better than La'el Collins. That's just my opinion on that one. And I don't feel like we will take a up and up going with Cam Fleming at right tackle. No.
You talked about the tight end position a minute ago,
right.
Not on our team, but you talked about tight end relative to football. So that leads me then to a segue to talk about our tight end position because we have Jeff Swaim injured, and you probably have Blake Jarwin maybe starting. So then who's next in line? Do we have Dalton Schultz and Rico Gathers? Like, which one? Obviously, it looks like they're favoring Schultz, but who do you think should be the guy going forward? As far as
right now,
the immediate backup role, I guess, or possibly sharing the starting time, really.
That's so tough. I mean, you would have to say Blake Jarwin based on experience. Talent-wise, you would say Rico Gathers, but they have no trust in him. I still feel like he's still missing plays. He's still forgetting plays. And I just feel like they did Rico Gathers. The whole situation is messed up. So if we're going forward, I'm going to see Blake Jarwin, but they're high on Schultz. You saw as soon as we saw in the Redskin games, Schultz got activated. Okay, Schultz caught a pass. They are high on him because they do like his blocking. He is a rookie. I think he offers more in the blocking scheme than a Rico Gathers does. But as far as talent-wise, I think Rico Gathers is better, but he's just not a football guy to me. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. Rico Gathers is not a football guy. When you watch him, he doesn't look like a football guy. He just doesn't. I mean, you got that huge size and that radius and everything else, but he just doesn't look like a football guy. And it's frustrating because you can't use him like you would love to use an Antonio Gates, like you had a basketball to football guy, a Gonzalez, one of those guys that went from basketball to football. It just seems like Rico Gathers is not catching on. So either there was a disconnect with the staff with him or something is going on, but that Rico Gathers situation is just not working. So you would have to say Blake Jarwin and Schultz because remember, they invested, a 4th-round pick on Schultz? They invested a 6th on Gathers. They're going to go with Schultz before anything else because they're going to want to see it through.
Looking back over here on YouTube, DJ G-Rob says Dalton and Jarwin are too soft. That's kind of something that I evaluated
Jarwin
myself.
is soft.
And
I don't know about Schultz being soft.
You mentioned it. Yeah, I guess we ain't really seen enough to know. But you mentioned the experience, and even if that's the case, it's not much. If he does have,
I know
this season will be whatever experience he has over them.
And that's scary because now you think just imagine if we had like a Jared Cook or somebody right now at the tight end position.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Or Eric Ebron, who's been balling out at the Colts, who I told the Cowboys to make I wish the Cowboys would have made a play for him. He is balling out with Andrew Luck. Imagine if, Dak, you got Amari Cooper and then you got a dynamic tight end, because people need to understand is that they were on the downside. Jason Witten was on the downside. Dez Bryant was on the downside. Dak hasn't had guys that are on the upside. You know what I mean? As far as receivers, tight ends. So it's kind of hard to evaluate, too, in my eyes, still a little bit with Dak, because he hasn't had the top flight weapons. He still needs a top flight or a better tight end to make him better as well. Because think about it, G. If we had like a really dynamic tight end, look at how much better. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is nasty, but he's got Tyreek Hill. You feel me? He's got Kelsey. That makes a world of difference as a player when you can just sling it and you got guys that can catch anything out there.
It's amazing how we went from one of the greatest tight ends in NFL history
To
and
nothing.
all that experience
To nothing.
to zero experience.
To nothing.
But we spent all these years drafting guys like Gavin Escobar, Martellus Bennett, John Phillips, Anthony Fasano, all these different guys throughout the years. Those guys would have been nice if we didn't have Witten.
Right.
Now we don't have Witten and we have nobody.
Right.
Guru over here on our Facebook or our YouTube live, he's a Cowboys hater. I'm trying to find this comment that he left, but maybe I can't find it right now.
I love the haters.
Oh, yeah, he says Dak, Tebow, Prescott. So even though you're a hater, I do agree with that because I've been saying that.
Well,
Dak Prescott is
I'm not going to call him
in comparison. He just reminds me
I feel
physically,
I'm not
his
gonna
leadership
compare him
abilities,
I'm not going to compare him to
but
Tebow.
extremely limited as a thrower.
We'll see.
You've been changing your tone. You're always back and forth, kind of.
Because you know why? Because I want Dak to succeed. I really do.
I want him to as well.
I guess because
you know how we are though, being realistic.
Yeah, that's the problem. The frustration is because I want Dak to do so good, and then when you see him do bad, it's just you get mad because you know the haters are coming because he has a lot of haters. Now Romo had haters, but I don't know if he had haters like Dak. I really don't think he's had haters. He's not. Romo has not had the hate like Dak has.
Anybody who hated Romo was probably just spoiled, really.
And the only thing you really hate about Romo is what? With the interceptions? That's it. Because you knew Romo could keep us in the game. But people are hating on that because the first thing he said, can't throw.
Law Nation says tight end is a young quarterback's best friend.
Hell yeah, it is.
So
Hell yeah.
that's
Look at Mahomes. He got Kelsey, dog.
Drew Brees, Drew Brees, and one of the best tight ends in the league, yeah.
I mean, think about if we had a Kelsey.
Law also says Drew Brees went 7-9 3 years in a row when they took away his tight end. That's true. So
yeah,
tight end does play a big role.
Law, you in here spitting this knowledge, dog.
For me, it always make sure you guys go follow.
Go
his page
follow
too.
Law. He
Click
in
on
here
his
spitting
page.
fire.
Subscribe to him
Flame
on
on.
YouTube. You guys on YouTube watching, if you're watching us, you might have came from him. But if you're not, make sure you go over there and subscribe to his channels too as well on YouTube.
Hey,
Law
Law.
Nation.
Yo got fire. Yo got flame.
So it's about time to wrap up this thing then. And we appreciate
we
everybody
went hard
checking
today.
in. We've been hard. We've been here for a while too.
Yeah,
I didn't even realize that.
That's you.
That's me. I appreciate you guys, everybody who checked in tonight. Make sure you check back in next Sunday, Tennessee Titans pregame show. We'll be there, an hour before kickoff.
Check out this week, too, because we got some stuff coming up this week. We got some good stuff coming up Wednesday and
so
Thursday.
Getting to that. And then also the post-game show next week after the game. So make sure you're there pre and post because those shows are huge, and we love to have everybody in there with us on YouTube and Facebook for that. So, and as he was just getting to, we're going to be trying to drop some more content this week. Look for maybe some film breakdowns, some top 10 lists, things like that. Different type of content. We're trying to expand here a little bit and just get a lot more, so you can see Big Game James a lot more, really, because I know a lot of people love watching the show and what you got to say. So definitely get you out there a little bit more on that channel, so people can definitely see what they love and they can see my production, like we talked about earlier, how it all just is kind of manifested as Cowboys fans into what it is. So it's just a big creation of Cowboys love, what you guys are watching right now. So
tune in this week because it's going down this week. So tune in.
Thank you, Cowboys, for making me a fan as a kid and leading me to where this is going today. So appreciate everybody. YouTube, Facebook.
that was so deep what you just said.
Was it?
No.
Oh.
I just want the best with you.
Well, you have any final thoughts then as we finish up the bye week and get ready for the Titans?
No, I'm just excited about. I just want to give one thing. Excited about the Amari Cooper trade. I am very excited to see what will happen with the team. Just want to see what happens with Dak Prescott and the team. But mainly, more than anything else, shout outs to everybody who's tuned in today. It's the bye week. You could have been doing anything else. You could have been in church. You could have been, with the kids. But the fact that you're tuning in, listening to us. Really, really, folks, we don't really just say this. It really, really means something to us. All the views, the likes, the comments, the shares, it's huge to us. So without y'all, we're nothing. So I just want to continue to give shout outs to everybody supporting Silver and Blue Nation, Big Game James from the very beginning to now. We love y'all. Keep on supporting, keep on liking, keep on sharing, because we're going to continue to keep getting better and better and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and read off a few names, too, here before we jump out. Last-minute shout-outs, last-second, last-call shout-outs. Bam Franklin, Daniel Meza, Annette, Jay Rish, our guy Law Nation. He's been here with us for a while. We appreciate
Hell
you,
yeah,
Law. Hey,
salute, Law.
The Underground Cowboys Nation.
Man, it's deep. It's thick.
They were in the show today.
It's
we
thick.
Appreciate that.
Yes.
Eric Doxson, Randy Bills, Arturo Lugo, Mary Gramillion, Mama T, Will Richards,
Tim Warner,
Katina Wright,
Katina
Janiqua Russell,
my boo Annette,
Jawan James, Wendy Mason, we love you.
Wendy Mason, we love you.
Joe Tranchina,
I don't know that one, Joe.
Mr. Hargrove, our newest Patreon.
Salutes.
Juan Madrid, Antonio Lawrence.
As always. What's up, Big Tone?
I'm just rolling through, saying
Keep on
everybody's
going.
name. We
Keep on
appreciate
going.
you guys. I'm going to go ahead and Ryan Dye. Let's not forget
Ryan
you.
Dye, what's up? We appreciate you, big dog.
And I'm going to go ahead and Ron Garrett, Tim Warner.
Ron Garrett, I love you, dog.
Let me jump over
Tim
here
Warner.
at YouTube. Stevie Mack.
Stevie Mack always there.
He's always with us.
Always Stevie Mack.
Nick Blue.
What's
Todd
up, Nick?
McOwen.
Todd.
Roberto Torres. Dane 62.
Dane 62.
Let's see if there's any new names. DJ G-Rob.
DJ G-Rob, what's up, baby?
I did say you earlier, but we appreciate you, and I want to make sure, because I'm just going up here these last few people that have left us comments.
Eric Dobson, what's up, baby?
Shout-outs. Eric Doxson. Flows Infinite. Ori Judry. Nook Nook.
Yes.
Say Prime Time.
Keep going, I love it. And that beat going with it.
I'm not giving you love, Guru. Not giving you any love. Michael Nesmith.
Yes.
Robert Torres.
Yes.
Appreciate everybody. Make sure you guys check back next week. D's Nuts. That's a YouTube handle.
I like
D's
that one.
Nuts.
That was a great segue how you said it. Like, make sure you check in. D's Nuts.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week for the pregame show. That's Big Game James.
And that's producer G Voltron. We love you. Tune in this week.
See you next week.
Peace.